You ever had a neighbor so crazy you start to wonder if you're actually living in some kind of government experiment? Because let me tell you, when my HOA president screamed, "Your wife is a terrorist from Israel," I'm calling the cops right into her phone, standing on my lawn with her phone out like Judge Judy. That's when I realized, oh, this is about to be one of those weeks where reality goes completely off the rails. She'd seen Elena's luggage tags, bright neon yellow, said TLV diplomatic, like some kind of discount James Bond prop, and in Margaret's mind, that meant my wife was hiding weapons for Mossad in a Samsonite. She wanted Elena arrested, she wanted justice, but man, there are some people you just shouldn't mess with, and there are some calls you really can't take back. It was a Friday, 4:47 p.m. to be exact, and I was elbow deep in debugging some gnarly server code when I heard the telltale screech of a taxi in the driveway. I peeked out the window just as Elena stepped out, wrinkled black suit aviators on her Samsonite, rolling behind her with a scratch so deep it looked like a battle scar. She wasn't saying a word, juggling 3 phones at once, all of them blowing up with calls. She just kept swiping away, her wrist covered up by a sleeve, but not enough to hide a mean-looking bruise. "You're home," I called out, and I went to hug her, but she just dodged and slipped past me, laser-focused on the inside. Now I couldn't help but notice the luggage tag, TLV diplomatic, and neither could Margaret Sullivan across the street watering her plastic geraniums with one eye on us, the other on her phone camera zoomed all the way in. She whipped out her legendary pink threat assessment journal V3.0, scribbling so furiously I could see the pen shaking. Margaret wasn't always this far gone, but after her sister got scammed by some fake contractor who cleaned out her savings, Margaret had turned into the NSA of our block, convinced every neighbor was a spy or a criminal. Last month she accused the mailman of being Russian, and now I guess my wife was a foreign agent. I tried to play it off. "Consulting trip," I told Margaret when she cornered me, her voice honey sweet but with this sharp arsenic aftertaste. "Just consulting, that's all." But she gave me this look, clicking her pen like it was a detonator. "Diplomatic immunity." "Marcus." "You know what that means?" she asked, clutching her pink notebook. "I research everything now. After what that man did to my sister, I swore I wouldn't let anyone else in this neighborhood get fooled." Back inside, Elena had barricaded herself in her office. Through the door, I caught snatches of a call. "Containment successful, no civilian casualties, cleanup crew en route." She opened the door, jumped when she saw me, tried to play it cool. "Oh, hey, when did you get home?" she asked. But I'd already seen her bruise, the one she claimed was from a hotel gym accident. "You ever seen a gym rope leave marks like that?" I asked, and she just sighed, said, "If anyone asks, especially Margaret, I went to Singapore. Please, Marcus, I can't explain right now." That night, Margaret went live to her 50,000 followers on her Suburbia safety network. "Suspicious activity on Oak Street. Elena Thompson just returned from Israel with diplomatic privileges. I have video evidence." And the comments just started flying. "Call the FBI. She's a spy, ma'am. This is a Wendy's." You know how the internet is. By 8 p.m., Margaret had turned her garage into a war room. PowerPoint's a giant map with red string, and her nephew Kevin, who she'd forced to play IT support. Bob Martinez, our ex-Marine neighbor, brought a six-pack and muttered, "Back in Fallujah, even briefings on terrorists were shorter than this." Joyce, our neighborhood beauty blogger, was live streaming the whole thing. "Y'all, this is better than Netflix." I was watching from outside, hands shaking as Margaret spun the wildest theories, clicking through slides, showing Elena's blurry photos, Tel Aviv flight manifests that Kevin had just pulled off Google, and whole folders labeled evidence. That's when I got a text from Elena. "Don't come home yet. We have company." Attached was a security camera photo, Margaret inside our house snapping photos of Elena's passport. And that's when I realized, oh hell, we just crossed into felony territory. Saturday morning, Margaret woke at dawn, prepping her case with a USB of her evidence witness statements she'd bullied out of neighbors Kevin's hacks, and she even practiced her 911 call all dolled up in a red, white, and blue tracksuit she'd bought for this exact moment. At 10:15 a.m., she went live for her viewers and dialed 911 on speaker, trembling with excitement. "Terrorist activity at 248 Oak Street. My neighbor just returned from Israel with weapons hidden in diplomatic bags." The dispatcher, skeptical as hell, asked for details. "I have proof," Margaret declared. "Her name is Elena Thompson. She fits the profile of a foreign agent according to Google. The dispatcher promised to send units and told her to stand down. Margaret grinned at her camera. Justice is coming. Less than 30 minutes later, 2 squad cars roared in sirens, wailing neighborhood pouring out to watch. Margaret stood on her lawn like a beauty queen at a parade, clipboard ready, while officers Johnson and Rodriguez marched up to our door with hands on their guns. Bang, 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 police! Open up! My heart nearly exploded. Sir, step aside, we need Elena Thompson now. For what? I managed to choke out. Suspected terrorism. Rodriguez said dead serious. Elena appeared, and honestly, it was the kind of plot twist you'd pay to see. She was in a unicorn onesie, green cucumber mask on her face hair, and chopsticks from last night's takeout. Terrorism, seriously. She deadpanned, not even fazed. Rodriguez didn't crack a smile. Ma'am, we need to ask about your trip to Israel. Elena looked past them, spotted Margaret, who was mugging for Joyce's live stream. Let me guess, pink notebook lady, 5'4", bad perm. She sighed. The officers started to protest, but Elena cut them off. Give me exactly 60 seconds. She nodded at me. Honey, get the safe. I grabbed the box from the closet. Elena opened it, pulled out a golden FBI shield, Special Agent Weapons Division. Both cops went pale. Director of FBI Weapons Operations just returned from blocking a $50 million illegal arms shipment. I've been awake for 72 hours, I haven't had coffee, and your credible source just wasted my one day off. Both officers backpedaled so fast I thought they'd trip. Sorry, Agent Thompson, so sorry, they mumbled, retreating. Outside, Margaret's jaw hit the ground. Joyce screamed, Chat, she's FBI. Margaret is so screwed, her viewer count shot up to 20,000. Kevin ran outside, Grandma abort. She's federal. Margaret just kept shrieking. According to Google, anyone can buy fake badges. Inside. I stared at Elena in disbelief. You're FBI real. FBI 15 years, babe, she said softer now. I wanted to keep you safe from this. Turns out Elena was the person stopping real terrorists, and now our neighbor had just committed, a dozen felonies. Margaret, though, she didn't quit. That night, Elena installed enough security to make Fort Knox look sloppy. Cameras everywhere, encrypted networks, thermal imaging. She'll escalate, Elena said. I've profiled worse than Margaret. Meanwhile, I recruited Bob for backup. Bob, who still had PTSD from Margaret's flagpole and mailbox fines. Son, you had me at payback. Kevin, meanwhile, kept bumbling into traps. Elena gave him a Wi-Fi speed test app that was actually a tracker. Margaret scribbled in her notebook, convinced our 6 routers meant we were running some encrypted spy ring. By midweek, Elena's security cams caught Margaret and Joyce sneaking around at 3 a.m., peeking in windows. Bam, floodlights came on. Sirens blared, speakers announced, Smile, you're on FBI camera. They bolted like scared deer. Joyce's phone live streaming the whole fiasco to thousands. Elena sipped her tea, smug as ever. And then came the escalation. Margaret broke into our house a second time, stole files, and guided by her conspiracy delusions, sent what she thought were insurance files to news outlets, WikiLeaks, even the DOJ. Except those were honeypot files planted by the FBI to catch foreign hackers, complete with tracking beacons. Within hours, black SUVs rolled up, SWAT teams swarmed Margaret's house, flashbangs, and all Joyce streaming every second to 50,000 viewers. Margaret and Kevin were hauled out zip-tied, Margaret sobbing that she'd just been doing her research, Kevin wailing about wanting college money. Turns out Margaret had just committed treason, leaking active operations and putting real agents at risk. Elena got a call promotion to deputy director for innovative neighborhood watch techniques. The neighborhood was stunned. The news ran headlines like Florida Woman of the Year arrested in FBI raid, and the HOA finally got a real president, Bob, who ran things with 3 rules. Don't be a jerkmo when you feel like it, and never measure anything ever. Property values soared. Margaret did 15 years, started a prison yoga group, and wrote a memoir. Kevin did too, became a cybersecurity consultant. Joyce turned her true crime doc into an Emmy-nominated special. Elena still wore her unicorn pajamas, but now I knew the truth. She was a real-life hero. At the one-year block party, the whole neighborhood was laughing, finally at peace, until all the lights cut out. A projector flickered to life, showing Margaret in prison orange with a wicked smile. You thought you were done with me, she said, voice echoing. Prison has its perks, time, research, and secrets. I know everything. She dropped bombshells about Bob's past, Joyce's tax fraud, Elena's old cover identities, even my Pentagon-level server access. Every neighborhood has secrets, she finished, and in prison I have nothing but time. Everyone was frozen, Bob's beer midair, Joyce staring in horror, Elena's hand clutching mine. "This isn't over," she whispered. "She's got help." I turned to an imaginary camera. So that happened. The lessons. Privacy is a myth. Always lock your doors, don't hack the FBI, and never underestimate a Karen with a grudge. Like and comment below what's the wildest HOA or neighbor story you've ever witnessed. Whose side are you on, and would you survive season 2? Because in my neighborhood, the show's never really over.